Hello, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. It's Saturday as we hit the recording button, and that means that it is Star Wars Saturdays, just a week before May the 4th, 2025. May the 4th is part of Open Hearth, the community we're all part of. We have a we have a fun online mini convention called the May the 4th Be With You Star Wars Minicon, and there are a bunch of awesome games coming up next week. I'm very excited for. I'm running a couple myself, one of which is a masks hack from the person who created the first Urban Shadows, and the other is a game, a one-page game that someone was going to enter into an itch jam, and the jam didn't happen, but they put it up on their itch page about clone troopers that I think is going to be really interesting and fun. But this is the regular rotation of Star Wars Saturdays. We are in the early part of a quarterly of Hyperspace D6. Hyperspace D6 is a scaled down, trimmed, and then rehacked by me using the open D6 system of the original Star Wars role-playing game system. It is scaled down significantly, much more simplified, and I also, as I said, I rehacked the hack to make it player-facing, added in some Apocalypse World and a Lady Blackbird inspired bits. We're one session past. We've had three characters created. Will not be joining us for this session. He had to open door, but we do have two new characters joining. The game is set after Return of the Jedi, but not quite to the point of the Mandalorian TV show, if that's a thing you know of in the Star Wars timeline. The short version is that Palpatine has died. The Empire in the core worlds is being replaced by the New Republic. But we are playing in a sector where the Imperial Remnant is still rather strong. It is the Tapani sector, a sector I've always wanted to run games in and have found fascinating. Tapani sector was one of the last settings created by West End Games before they lost the license. It was put out in the late 90s, not long before the prequels. Why am I giving a history lesson? Tapani Sector, Nobles, Star Wars, Pew Pew, and Imperial, because everyone wants to shoot stormtroopers. So, the player characters are all effectively rebels, and they are helping to restore the Rebel Alliance here. So I may occasionally use the Alliance to restore the Republic or the New Republic interchangeably. The Empire, the Imperial Remnant here in the Tapani sector, of course, thinks of you as rebels. So I will also use that term because that amuses me and makes me happy. The plan here for this series is that we use HyperspaceD6, which at its heart's a relatively scaled back, roll a bunch of dice against a target number kind of system. Because it is interoperable with the original Star Wars West End Games D6 game, I will be using some of the modules, trimming them down, and occasionally deciding that, yeah, that actually, even though it is lauded, is not a mission I think we would find fun. That said, we do. Oh man, nice background, Dash. Nice the ad of the name. Very very dope. I like that a lot. Very cool. So in last session, the crew, the squad, the team. I like team. In fact, I think even in the character keeper, I said the team. There we go. The team met with their recruiter. Kind of saved him, really. By kind, I mean absolutely. Tyree was in rough straits. You guys went through. Wow, I just realized I got a theme of mines here because it's a bind before and you're going into a binding area now. Wow, okay. Didn't even put those two together until as I'm saying this out loud. But Tyree was the person who'd recruited the three PCs to join the New Republic, the rebellion, and you went through some mines while stormtroopers were chasing after you. You found where Tyree had gotten into a fight and had lost, but was not quite dead. And then you drug him along with Dio, his astromech droid, into some Y-wings, flew off before some AT-ATs arrived to take everybody out. And that was the end of our first session, called Rebel Breakout. Look it up. From 1987, came in the original Star Wars First Edition role-playing game. This session begins with a new mission as you guys are in. We're going to pick up. I think this will be a neat way to have folks introduce their characters and the like. We pick up with the four of you plus a noble, which will be in case things run over. But and then Janor Fulbert is has sequestered himself in a place in this bulk hauler, and when is they're not really interested. He's taking care of some kind of business. This is Shang Lines, Shang. Shang Lines is a company in Tapani. There's a large freighter company, and you're currently on a Shang Lines bulk hauler called. I'll type this in the chat. The Vazen Tass. Vazen Tass. The Vazen Tass is captained by a sympathizer to the New Republic and the Rebellion named Captain Leona Mack. Captain Mack is fine. She doesn't mind that at all. I have a picture of her in the general sector of NPCs on the NPCs tab. Leona Mack is tough. She runs her own bulk freighter. She does have a small crew, but also has a few droids that help her. A couple load lifter droids that do a lot of the work, and then a couple of engineers. It's very, very large. This is a bulk hauler, so it is a massively large ship. But the 90% or more of the ship is dedicated to cargo sectors. So there's a very small, kind of narrow section of the ship that is built for habitation. And the five, if we count our NPC'd PC, the five of you are aboard because she has agreed to transport you on your mission. So, what is your mission, you might ask? That is a great. Thank you for asking. Um, the Imperial Navy has blockaded a ship, a sector of House Rena. House Rena, the province, is on the northern section of the Tapani sector. It's the furthest away from civilization. And there is a system called Caloria where some suspected rebel activities have taken place. And you guys know for sure that those rebel activities are happening. That Caloria system, because it is on the edge of Tapani space, the New Republic have been trying to head out into the wildlands and uncharted sectors to be able to infiltrate parts of Tapani sector and have used Calora as a staging point. And therefore, there are sensor nets that have been set up, and there are Imperial interdictor cruisers patrolling at irregular intervals. The five of you have been sent on this mission to take out one of the sensor nets so that regular New Republic transports could resume. Everything has been put on hold until this mission of yours of vital importance has been taken care of. And the sensor net has been identified to be on the planet of Argovia. I'm going to check on the maps tab. I've unhidden Argovas City, which is on Argovia, the planet. Um, Argovas City is the most populated city on the planet. There are about 500,000 people in Argovas City. There are two mining complexes that feed ore and the like to the spaceport, all of which are located outside of the city sector. And then the Imperial Centernet complex has been set up to the north. Um, I'll pause. I have thrown a huge amount of box text. Now you're like, wow, I wish I had an adventure script. That was at least funny. But I've thrown a bunch of information your way. Um, while we're beginning with the crew, the team on the Vazen Tass bulk hauler, were there any questions that you wanted or would have asked Tyree when he gave you your mission briefing?
What kind of protection is there at because we're going to the sensor net complex, right?
Correct. Uh, the the details that we have, Tyree would share with you, is that they have at least two squads of stormtroopers who rotate, uh, providing protection. The good news Tyree offers is that we have contact with a forger named Bats. I will type that name into who can provide you with imperial idents to at least get you into the complex. It will be on you to slice, or however you wish, take out the sensor net.
Just logistically, is Shan with them on the bell collar, or am I on planet?
I think it would be interesting if you're with them on the bulk hauler, unless you think it's more interesting to meet them. What would you prefer?
Uh,
I want you to know them,
yeah,
so
yeah. No, I think I meet them on planet. I think I've been here working in the mines, um, under false pretenses, but I will meet them as they land, unless we're gonna have scenes on the ball collar for a long time.
um, I don't know. This is a chatty group.
I could be on the ball collar. I'm fine with that.
Okay, cool. Maybe you were selected specifically for this mission because of your knowledge of uh, Argovia and Argovas City. I just dropped a little bit of text to you, Greg, just to give you the,
Ooh,
in case you wanted, bit of info
is
there.
is what is Tenzas? It's the only other thing marked on the map that has not
That is a
been
great
discussed.
question. Tenzas is a well-known landmark. It is a casino slash bar. It's basically a miner's hangout. So a little bit of rough and tumble, a lot of games of chance, and getting drunk and having a good time. So we pick up on the bowl caller. I am curious, Jody, where is it that we find you? Where do you spend your time on the bowl caller? It's about a day trip before you're going to reach Argovia.
So I think I'm in the maintenance area hanging out with other droids. Um, I make sure that whenever mess hall is called, like at regular meal times, I go to where all the other passengers or all the other workers would be. But most of the time I'm with the droids, kind of preaching to them, you know, you can be free. You don't have to do menial work. If you like this, you should do it, but you don't have to.
Great. The two load lifter droids um, are in one of the cargo sections, and both of them have restraining bolts on them.
Ooh. And you said that Bats is no, who's the captain?
Sorry, the captain, her name is Leona Mack, Captain Mack.
Yeah. So at the next mealtime, whenever the captain's going to be there, I'm going to join the captain at their table and tell
Okay.
her, hey, You shouldn't keep slaves on board.
Oh, awesome. That is great. We will pick up with that in just a second. So I'm now going to ask Kala Breck. Oh, sorry. You just took a bite. I'm so sorry. So
I
how
should before we go there, I should ask, since we have it ticked, is it okay for me to say slaves or refer to droids with restraining bolts as slaves?
Yeah, we do
Because
have
we have
ask
that as
first
ask
as a
first. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. If not, I can change it to, droids who are restrained or something like that. Just let me know.
Seems like everybody gave you a thumbs up, so you can move forward with that terminology. So, Kala Breck, um, dang it, I keep coming back to you. I'm gonna stop. Greg,
No,
Shan.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I just see you chewing. I feel guilty. I did the waiter thing of constantly asking you questions while you're eating. Anyway, so tell us, how has Kala handled this? What is she? She seems very street to me. The
Yeah,
look, the picture you have. So tell us a little bit about Kala.
yeah. So I think uh, she's like grown up on the street, but she worked her way up. And I think she's pretty young. She's like 20. She looks younger, but she's not that young. She's worked her way up in some sort of criminal crew. I think she's been a getaway driver. That's
Ooh.
been like her profession, so to speak, in that situation. Um, but I think, think she sold out her crew to like grab the money and go join the rebellion because that seemed they were bad people and they deserved it and yeah, I think that because she's wanted, and I think that like fled from authorities due to a crime. Yeah, maybe authorities, maybe it's the. I mean, they did a big job. She took the money, so there's probably bad blood on both sides there. Yeah.
Uh, a question I will be interested in exploring is,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I want the answer right now. Did does Kala believe in the cause, or is this a convenient place to hide? That is an interesting question for us to
Mhm.
explore.
Yeah. I'll think about that.
Okay, and then you've been on this grimy, cramped. Gi how can it be a gigantic ship and we get on? It's like being in a submarine. The Voss, as she calls it, the Vosentas, Captain Mac. It's yeah, it's not made for you guys to sleep comfortably. Um, how has Kala Breck handled that? What have we seen?
I think she has like she took one look at her bunk and she decided to find a different place to sleep. So she has uh, probably like squirreled away somewhere in either in the cargo hold itself or in some other area that's a bit more spacious that where you're not supposed to sleep, but she's yeah, that's where she's
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Maybe at some point we saw you in the background trying to catch a few Z's as Jody is speaking in binary to the two load lifter droids.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that a lot. Awesome. What about Siren or Siren? Is it Siren or Siren? I'm going to mess it up a lot. Sigh.
Won't care. Neither does he. What is a name?
What has Sai been up to for the last half day while traveling on this giant bulk hauler?
Uh, he's sort of been mapping out the interior of wherever he can get to and just having a generalized knowledge of the place, like poking his head everywhere and knowing where everything is, Nigerian bean cat people have, in my brain, I say this as someone who doesn't know Zoroas, has, liquid cat bones. And so he's gone everywhere and anywhere and is sort of just like getting the lay of the land, but like very stealthfully.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Cool. Um, One of the crew is a guy by the name of Rick. You can look and find a pic of Rick. He has a mohawk. Uh, he wears a little bit of street style similar to Kala. He would have probably run into you a couple of times, Sai, because he's working
Hmm.
and you're sneaking around. Half the time, he had no idea you were there. Every once in a while, he may have noticed that you were there and gave you a head nod. What has your attitude been towards Rick?
What has Rick's attitude? So is it just like a head nod or?
Yeah, like a head nod. He hasn't really stopped to have a conversation because you're skulking around.
Yeah, I think then when he didn't notice me, went on and I literally did the exact same head nod gesture back to him, like just mirrored.
Oh, interesting. Cool. Cool.
Also, how dare you have House Barnaba in here and not have you know who?
Oh, well, because who even knows what state they're going to be in? We have to have the wedding thing before we know that.
Bah, 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 bah.
And then the last question, Shan, this is a bulk hauler from the Shang lines, probably not as foreign to you as it is to the others. I'm not sure if this is something you've ridden on before or just helped to load during your time. But how have you managed yourself over the last most of a day before this supper conversation begins?
So Shan is here as the load expert. Um, is working closely with the captain. I'm unable to
Captain
do
Mac.
Captain Mac. Um, but because this is just a big old load. Actually, it's probably a bunch of empty containers. So she may have questions about why there needs to be a load expert on a bunch of empty containers that are going to get filled with ore. Um, but I think perhaps Shan is supposed to like stay with the load and is going to, of course, leave the ship because that's actually the mission. Um, but
That
yeah,
you
he's
cover?
been
Yeah.
yeah. There's some mining, maybe there's some mining equipment, right? We're dropping off some mining equipment, and I'm here to make sure that it arrives intact.
Cool. So we pick up with around the dinner table. It is a square, like a rectangular thing that's built in to the small galley. Rick is here. The rest of you are all around. They've got that weird burbling sound cooker, like from New Hope. The um, and I think Rick has one of the little hand mixer things, and Captain Mac is actually doling out food into everyone's bowls when Jody brings up the why do you have do you want to cue us up again with the actual
Oh yeah. So I come walking in, there's the table, and I take a seat as close to the captain as I can, sort of Riker style, like throw a leg over the chair, sit down. Um, there's no bowl in front of me, or if there is, I shove it away, and I turn to the captain. I say, you know, why are we carrying slaves on this ship?
she she pauses for a second and then continues pouring it. There are no slaves on this ship. Rick, are you a slave? No, ma'am. No, no, captain.
Several of your the people, several of the droids working down in the facility have restraining bolts on them, and therefore they are not free.
The load lifter droids?
Yes.
Um, Those are class 3. I'm nowhere
Yeah.
near as advanced as you, J0D1.
That's Jody. You can refer to me by my name. And I'm just saying that we should not be, they should be compensated for their work just like anyone else. They should not be forced to do the work due to a collar.
She she'll look at you, Shan, because you're the you know the human who doesn't look like a street right. Is this droid serious with this?
From my time spent with Jody, yes.
Wow, that's it's a really interesting opinion you've got there, Jody.
Well, if you study your history, all societies take advantage of some class. And this society seems to have been built on the back of the droid class. And that needs to change. Otherwise, you're only as good as the lowest in your society. I'm just
I
saying treat them right.
I think that's awesome. I would love to see
Oh,
if you are trying to. I don't think it's deceive, right? You're trying to make a compelling argument to change her opinion about something.
Right.
Um, I think you're coaxing a follower. It's the closest we have. So that would be a perception roll underneath that the skill of command, because you're not
Okay.
haggling, right? And tell me if you think you see it differently.
No, I think you're right. Okay.
Okay,
So
so
four.
you're going to be rolling 4D,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to say this is a pretty ingrained reflexive thought process for her. So I'm going to say it's going to be a moderate difficulty.
Okay. Um, and I I think this is just flavor. This isn't necessarily something
Sure.
that I'm willing to compromise the mission over. So I'm going to roll my 4d6. Bam. Oh, that's a lot of ones. I got a
Uh,
total of 8 and I needed 15.
yeah. She says, "Appreciate your opinion, Jody. And you've shared it, but I'm the captain, so you can keep it to yourself from now on. This droid's not going to be a problem, is she? Is it? It's not going to be a problem, is it? I know it has weapons. Looking to Shiyu Shan.
well, Jody is here, just like the rest of us, here to secure the load. Won't be a problem.
Okay." And then she finishes
Shin
pouring the
gives like a
bowls.
slight side eye to Jody, like, right, there won't be a problem.
And I
Cap,
think I get up from the table and I go over and I sit with some of the rest of the crew.
cool.
Oh,
Looks like Sai is slipping away. He's
oh,
yeah. Looks like Sai is slipping away from the galley and heading out to the cargo sector where the droids are recharging. So let's just follow that. I don't think anyone noticed Sai slipping away. You head to one of the cargo sections. You end up having to scale down a ladder. Not a big deal for a Zygerian.
Hmm.
And you see the two load lifter droids. They are quite large. I have a picture of them. Oh God, are we going to use that guy? Yeah, man. Um, I don't know if you guys remember, or if you, well, I know at least one of you had to have watched the Obi-Wan, but the load lifter droids, I don't know. That one looks way too human, though. I'm gonna go with something that looks a little more inhuman. Where are you? Binary load lifters. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. This is a cool pick, and I'll stick it in our keeper, but I wanted to share it with you real quick so you know what you are looking at. It does not look, well, it is ambulatory. It doesn't look terribly human. Did that come through?
Yes.
All right. They are both. They have little indicator lights that they are active, but they're standing motionless in these like C clamp type things that are hooked into them. They're recharging. They have these weird kind of C clamp hands that are used. Not really hands, but grippers. What do you do when you approach them? One of them would actually, the little camera eye thing would turn like it tracks you.
Uh, and he's gonna point with a foot towards the sort of shackle and be like, "Do you want this there?"
It doesn't respond.
I've been there too. And yeah, he's fucking taking him off. Jody complained. Jody was like, "Hey, you've got slaves here," and he's like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm gonna go handle that. You didn't give Jody the correct response or respect. I'm gonna go do the thing."
Cool. I don't think that's a complex maneuver. I don't even think it requires a roll, but you realize as you start to disengage the clamp that there's a little indicator light that comes on and a soft chime, and the camera eye turns and it burbles something in binary, which I would assume you're not a person who's skilled in speaking binary.
Probably not. I feel like he knows like binary in the same way that some people know just like a little bit of Spanish from being around like people who speak Spanish so much. Like if you work in a workplace where that is the most predominantly spoken language, but you don't speak it,
Yeah. Okay. It says, "What are you doing?"
freeing you. And he says that in, just common regular.
Looks over at the other droid. They're very unsure. Uh, yeah. So you guys back at the meal, uh, Captain Mac says, "Where'd you get your ink?" To you, Kala. You got a whole lot going on there.
Hmm. Hmm. I didn't get it. I earned it.
Oh, how did you earn it?
Working.
Okay.
And I think I'm sitting like with my feet up on the table and like very yeah, very relaxed, um, and not being particularly respectful towards the captain or anyone else.
Awesome. All right. I'm gonna take this in my quarters. And she pours out her bowl, and then she's out. She grabs a cup, and she's done playing nice or host at any way, and she takes off. And that's when I think Jody, you wouldn't have noticed that there's a little indicator light on. Um, like she's got a wrist communicator. Right? She notices the indicator light, and it's a little indicator that something was disconnected down in one of the cargo areas. Huh. Looks like one of the. Hey, Rick. Yes, yes, Cap. You go check on the load lifters. Of
I
course.
would like I would like to roll a notice to make sure that to see if I noticed Sai uh heading away. Or do you think you made that obvious, Sai?
I think it's not obvious to anyone who's not Jody.
Okay. So Jody specifically stayed here so that she's, in public view of everyone. And the captain asked Rick to go down. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I think Rick says, I think I say, I'll go down with Rick. Make sure there's no trouble.
Okay. So Rick will head out. He slurps down the last of his bowl of nutrish food. It's not super tasty, so he washes it down with something else before. You're not messing with the droids, are you?
Me?
Well,
I've
you
been here
bring
the whole
up a
time.
thing. Yeah, okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
okay.
yeah.
Sure. Uh, so, Sai, you hear them coming. They're talking. It is not a surprise thing.
Jody has made sure that we're talking and we're loud enough for Sai to hear.
Yeah, Sai wants to put themselves in a position where they can't be seen, sort of stealth.
Also, Sai, you know from speaking with Jody, I would assume
Yeah.
these two droids have restraining bolts on them. These restraining bolts, very simplistic in Star Wars, but it basically is a thing that is welded onto a droid and overrides a lot of their programming so that they either
That's what he was removing.
don't. Oh, that's okay. I thought you were removing them from their power couplings. Okay, so
No,
you're
no,
going
no,
to
no.
go
Why
over
would
and take off and also take off the restraining bolt.
no, just the restraining bolt. So, if they're getting a meal, he's not going to stop them from getting a meal, but
Okay. Misunderstood. Sorry for that. I should have
it's okay.
asked better clarifying questions. Yeah. So the reaction is still, "What are you doing?" And you free, and then you take it off of the other ASP2, and they're both kind of looking at each other. Um,
I am crawling into the above like ceiling kind of area, like moving myself up and into a place to hide sort of on the ceiling.
okay. And where did you stick the restraining bolts? They're about yay big, you know.
Oh, he's probably still got them on him.
Okay. Oh, they came out of their moorings. Okay, come on. And they've got, in Aurebesh, O1 and O2. So come on, O1. Let's get you back in here so you can finish charging. He hasn't.
And I think I'll take the O2 and I'll say I'll help you uh get back to your meal as well.
And O2 says the Zygarian removed our restraining bolts.
Oh. Well, sometimes sometimes she gets excited about that. Um, Maybe we should have a discussion about that further. Um, this isn't going to be a problem though, is it? And I say this to one, two, and a Rick.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
but you're saying it out loud in basic.
Yeah.
Cool. Uh, Rick will say, no, they're almost fully charged anyway. I'm sure it's. Oh, Carabast. He reaches and he runs his fingers over the empty space where the restraining bolt was.
hmm
He starts to get a little nervous. A one? Uh, everything okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't O2 say to me, say
Mm-hmm.
out loud to everyone?
Yes. It
So
appears
Rick didn't.
that maybe Rick doesn't speak binary.
Oh, I'm sorry. So said it in binary.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, they only
oh, in
speak
that case,
binary.
okay. In that case, I'm going to change what I said a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to say, because I thought it was public to Rick as well. I'm
No.
going to say, let's not tell anyone about the Zygarian yet. Let's see what happens. Um, are you happy with not having a restraining bolt?
Hmm. To be determined.
Okay. And then Rick tries to get them back in, sees that the restraining bolt is missing, and then um, I'll turn to Rick and say, "It seems like um, someone else on the crew other than me is interested in not restraining these droids, letting
Yeah,
these droids
I
have
got
their
to
own
call
free
this into
will.
Captain Mac, he says as he picks up his little comm unit.
I've been with you the whole time. It's not me. It must be someone
I
else on the
didn't.
crew."
I'm not worried about whose
Oh,
fault
no,
it is,
no.
man. I
I'm saying
just
it must be someone else on the crew. Call Captain Mac down. We can deal with it.
okay. So, Kala, you're still sitting sideways and being recalcitrant. She had Captain Mac sent Rick away, and then she was headed back to her quarters. She gets down the long hallway, and then she a moment later is coming back down the hallway. Okay, yeah, just stay back, Rick. I'm on my way.
Are you all right, Captain? Is there a problem
Somebody
with the
remove the
loading equipment?
restraining bolts on the droids. That stupid J0D1.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Jody was here the whole time.
Yeah, she does a quick like. So is that kitty cat then? Guess you put a leash on her.
There's a lot of people on this ship besides just the because you said there's other crew, right?
Yeah,
There's
there's
other,
other.
yeah, yeah.
We'll say
There's other crew
it's a
members here as
total
well.
crew of four:
Right.
Captain Mac, Rick, and a couple of others who work off shift, so they're effectively asleep right now.
Ah, okay.
You want to be careful with that leash talk.
Oh, did she not earn enough of the leash? She says as she heads to the starts to scale down the ladder.
Um, Shan gonna go over and the galley, I assume, has to serve many functions on a ship this size.
Sure, yeah.
Um, and pulls out his little finger interface and sticks it into the computer. I'm gonna start locking down the doors.
Oh,
Man, I thought working for the rebellion would get to meet a better class of people.
How long do we said we had like a day before we get to
it's a like a day travel. Let's say you're halfway, so you got a few hours
we
left
got a
before
few
you're
hours
gonna
left. Okay.
reach the Argovia. Okay. Um, she doesn't have. If this is a bulk hauler, it's very simplistic. You can shut a door down between her and the area where the two binary load lifter droids are.
Okay. Um, let me what is what's the difficulty?
Let's get you into the dice here. So,
Yeah.
you are doing a thing, and it sounds like you are trying to operate a computer system.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards,
So
yeah.
you'll be rolling technical, and then if you have the skill of computers, you get any dice you've added underneath that. Like I said, this is not built with any security, ice of any kind, no countermeasures, so it is easy. We will say it is a
Easy.
10.
Oh, okay. Well, this should be easy for me to hit then. Question mark. Oh, what do we do with canted dice? Oh, the canted in my case.
It
That
decants.
it rolled as oh no, it just always shows the max value on the right side. Okay, that's a 19.
Okay. Now,
Not quite optional by
not
tens.
quite by 10. Yeah, not quite. Yeah, you have full control of this system right now. You can operate the doors. You see the indicator that she found out about. You've got control of their comm system because it's all piped in. Like they're using comm units. The comm units are bouncing through the system because there's so much metal and
Yeah.
interference.
I'm,
So,
I'm gonna like lock her in the hallway for a second, and I'm just gonna be and like call it probably hear me talking to her. Um, Captain Rick, we really don't mean any harm here. I'm not exactly sure what the actions of my companions who have led to this moment, but after we land and after we are cleared, I'm sure we can locate you two more droids that will work.
I paid for these droids. I still owe on these droids.
I understand.
No, let me get. I'm the captain of my own ship, Shan. I agreed to take you guys on as a favor to your alliance because I think you want to do the right thing, but you got to choose your battles. And if you want to get the hell off of Argovia, you better do what I say right now, which is let me get to my droids and replace their restraining bolts so that I can get my job done. And then I'll get you to your job and you can do whatever you want. And if you do this right now, I'll 15 hours after I get all of that ore on my ship, we'll leave with you. I
I
think
don't believe my
Kala, you
companions
heard
find
all
this
of.
agreeable.
Sorry, Kala, you hear all of. I'm sorry, Greg.
Yes,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
want to make
No,
sure
no.
that Unesh is aware. You heard
Yeah,
all of that. I imagine Jody and Sai, with Sai's hearing and Jody's proximity, you probably heard a bit of this. She's yelling it because it's not the best loudspeaker system.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Greg?
Oh, I said, I'm not sure my companions are going to agree to that.
So I'll say, I'll go over to the door. I hear the captain's behind it. I'll kind of bang on the door. I don't really know that Shan's shut this down, but I'll be like, I'll see what I can do to open the door. We should talk, Captain. Um, do you want to open the door?
Yeah, I'll open the door.
And I'm gonna, turn to the captain and apologize. I'm so sorry for this. I wanted to expand horizons. I didn't intend to cause any problems on your ship. Um, all I intended to do was explain that we are all fighting for freedom here, and that doesn't just include certain people. All people are considered uh, worthy of freedom.
She
And
takes a couple steps closer. She has to look up. You're
yeah,
you're much taller than she is, and she says,
mhm.
"This is my ship. I am the captain of my ship. I own property that gets work done here. I owe for those droids, and you are not taking them off of this ship."
The intention was never to take anything from you or to cost you money. The intention here was to not propagate the uh, enslavement of anything. So in this case, if you don't mind, this is what I'd suggest. Um, it will, unfortunately, someone removed the restraining bolts. Your crew, my crew, I'm not sure who it was, at this point. Well, that's a lie. Um, I'm going to say your crew, my crew, it doesn't matter who it was, but let's just talk about whether or not they do a good job. And if they do a good job without the restraining bolts, why not leave them off? It doesn't cost you anything to leave the restraining bolts off. And, if they do a good job, it might even be better for you.
There's a log moment, and then her little wrist display communicator, another alert goes off. Kirabast. And then she's going to go, open this door, Shan. I've got to get to the cockpit.
Can I tell what's going on? What else?
Oh, absolutely. Uh, there is an Imperial communication to this ship to prepare because they are being approached by an Imperial interdictor. You.
Do I have any codes that I can send? Like, has the rebellion prepared us? The New Republic prepared me with any Imperial codes that I can send back?
No, not even old codes. The hope was that you guys could hide out in one of the containers if you were waylaid.
Hmm.
You could also just say you're part of this crew, and the assumption was the Captain Mac would cover for you.
I
What
open up the door.
she's like jogging towards the long neck and up the ladder, and she's headed towards the cockpit to answer that signal.
So the droids are connected back to this computer system too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to provide the droids with information about what a living wage would be for a non-binary load lifter droid, so that they can ask for a reasonable sum.
That's awesome. Um, yeah, the binary load lifter droids would then they communicate to the astromech droid that's up front that just communicated with the captain, and the astromech's running the calculations for the offset of power, refueling, repairs, and the like. So because they don't need food, so one of the two ASP02 posits what would I use credits for? And 01 says it is a matter of status.
Bigger arms. Um,
Bigger arms. Yeah.
uh, I'm gonna reach out to Sai on the comlink. Sai, we're gonna need a place to hide, and we're gonna need one real quick.
Sai has been following the captain on the ceiling, like as they're running on the bottom, Sai is on the
Mm-hmm.
ceiling, like just going along, following, and will pause, I think, once they hear Shan. Hideout? Yeah, I've got hideout. Hideout
Awesome.
now?
Yeah, I think we're about to have an Imperial entanglement here.
So given the fact that I've been crawling through this place, like a yeah, just going through this entire place, scoping the whole thing out. Um, where would be, in my opinion, the second best hiding place? Not the obvious, like, oh, this is the best hiding place, but the second best hiding place.
Captain Mac had actually planned for this possibility, and one of the cargo sectors is marked with basically radioactive, as if it's radioactive, but it is not. Um, that's what she set up for you as where she assumed you'd go if things go awry. That said, um, there is a different cargo sector, which seems like it's their junk room, that is probably a better option.
So I think Sai will explain to Shan, like, this is what was set up. However, I do not believe the captain is happy with us. This may be a better secondary option. Hideout better. Hideout better here.
Sounds good. Um, I'm going to. Are we out of hyperspace now? Have we been pulled out,
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
that? Yeah. Okay. Um, my last thing on the computer. I'm going to try to wipe us off the manifest. If we haven't, are we already writing without being on the manifest,
Yeah,
or are
you're not on
we?
the manifest. She
Okay.
does not want any paper trail whatsoever.
And I think
Okay.
Sai will ask, should I meet you there now, or should I continue to follow and see what Captain does? Well, not, we wouldn't say captain,
Um.
say the captain, because it's a title, it's not his captain.
I'm gonna give uh, the maintenance crew on the ship a little something to also worry about to make this a little more complicated. And overload what's like a non-primary system? Um, not anyway, not like life support or gravity or anything. Well, gravity might be interesting.
Oh, you relate it to the radiation thing.
Oh, like a yeah, like some
Spoof
sort
some
of
kind of
protection,
a
spoof
problem.
a radiation leak.
Ne-
Yeah,
ne-
I'm gonna try to spoof a
God.
radiation leak just to keep the Imperials a little unhappy, and then make my way to that. So I probably have to roll for the spoofing, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I
Did you
think.
answer Sai though about which Sai should do?
Oh, junk. We're going to the junk container.
Go to the junk. Don't try and figure out whatever the captain's gonna say to the Imperials. Just go to the junk. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's staying on the ceiling, gonna go to the junk.
Okay. I again are not many, almost no security protocols. If you want to turn on alarms within the ship, you already have the access. If you want to be broadcasting that there is a containment issue, that will be a easy roll.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, I'm just setting off that there may be um issues with containment, but it's gonna be yeah, yeah, okay. Just to wake up the rest of the crew and make it like
Hmm.
a problem. Yeah, that is a 12.
Um, just to be clear,
Hmm.
you are making sure everyone in the ship knows, hey, there could be a containment issue, and also putting on the beacon that is like to warning to other ships using the.
Yeah, I think it's most if they get on board, there's just gonna be like on the alert list, like radiation containment, radiation containment, radiation containment, so that when the Imperials are going through, they'll be like, "Ooh, maybe we should be here."
Okay.
Yeah.
Last, just will the Imperials pick up that warning? Like, is this broadcast outside of the
Mm.
ship?
No,
That is
not
the.
outside of the ship. They have
Okay.
to get onto the ship to figure it out.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Trying to give them pause. Yeah.
Sure. You overhear Captain Mac because you're in the system as you're setting off these indicators. Lights come on in the sleeping quarters because that is an alert. Kala, you're up there. All kinds of food. Everyone left their food. Not that that's a thing you care about, but lots of nutrish. Um,
Yeah, I think I'm standing behind Shan, kind of waiting for him to get moving, with like a bowl, holding a bowl in front of me and chewing on like the equivalent of a drumstick or something.
nice, nice. So you overhear Captain Mac. She gives out her idents. The Imperials say, "Hey, we're on patrol. We have reports of pirate activity." And she says, "Hey, I'm Sheng Line's bulk hauler. Here's my ident information." And so, excellent, excellent. Everything looks good here. All right. Please remain where you are. We're sending in a small squad over to inspect. So, I'm not a. What do you mean? No, you don't need to do that. Everything's fine here. We're not pirates. This is a bulk hauler. This thing is so slow that it couldn't. Uh-huh. We're on our way. And then she comes over the. What the? That's when she notices that the alerts are going on. Um, hey, we have an Imperial inspection crew on their way on a shuttle. A couple of ties are escorting it. You guys should head to the cargo sector that I identified to you earlier.
So Jody's going to take the a couple of spare restraining bolts out of her pack. She keeps fake restraining bolts and it fixes it to one and two, and tells them in binary, just for appearances, the inspection should pass over you. Act normally. Do the best job you can. Obey orders. And I'm going to head towards the junk area. Um, and this junk area, it's a place. What you described to Sai was basically it's a place where there's a whole bunch of junk that we could hide in. Is that
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to pose there as a um uh droid working on the equipment, trying to repair it in this junk area. So I've got like a welder out. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So, Kala, you hear the Captain Mac broadcast, "Hey, Imperials are coming with an inspection crew. Um, you need to get to the this area."
Shan, you want to get going?
Yeah, we're not going to that radiation container. We're heading to that junk container.
Yeah, we should get going anyway. She's
Okay.
And
been chewing the drumstick, but she's keeping the bowl.
Shan makes sure that there's the appropriate numbers of bowls left in the alley. That it doesn't look like there's been 12 people eating here. Um,
Art.
and then I'm gonna, on my way there, I'm grabbing my blaster carbine from my room, but we're making our way to that
Cool.
that junk hauler.
Yeah, room is generous. Like where you stowed it, maybe your locker. I don't think you
Yeah.
have a room. Uh, for visuals, I'm imagining the interior of the sand crawler from New Hope, as far as junk just lying around. Not really junk of old droids, although you probably find enough Jody to look like you're doing repairs if need be. Um, and Denjanor comes aboard this junk area. Oh, never have I been so. Why did you cause so many troubles?
Find a dark place to hide.
Very well. And then he will find a dark place to hide and disappear again. Uh, some time passes. You hear, oh, Sai.
Hmm.
Kale, Shan, and Jody all head with Endengenor, Endengior. They head to hide out in the junk cargo area. What are you doing, Sai?
Um, Shan told me to go there, but do I, having spent some time around the ship, do I believe that I can stealth myself enough and camouflage myself enough into the ceiling to just kind of chill and like overhear or listen without detection? Do I feel confident in that?
I think it is worth a roll. That
Yeah.
sounds very amusing and fun to me. Stealth is underneath perception, and I'm going to say it's a diff of moderate to stay hidden during this encounter.
Just listen, keep my ears open. So what is moderate?
Moderate is a 15.
4. Okay. I'm gonna spend one character point and bring in my luck edge. So I'm gonna get 6 D6.
Wow, that's right. When you spend a character point, you get plus 2D instead of plus 1. Fantastic. That's a lot of dice.
23.
Wow. That is not quite a by 10, but that is definitely a success. So you um, crawl up in, I'm imagining we're doing a little bit of die hardness in that you're able to move through one of the air duct areas and occasionally look down through the grating. You Everyone hears the airlock cycle, the coupling of the shuttle as it this doesn't have a hangar. It's a bulk hauler. It's not made for such things. A not a full squad. There are six stormtroopers that come aboard with a couple of black uniformed, the half bowl, very large helmet Imperials come aboard, and one of them immediately notices the alarms that have happened, and Captain Mac meekly leads them to the area. Says, "Sorry for the containment breach," and she said, "What?" The Imperial asks, "What? Where are your containment suits?" And she says, "Over here." She'll open a little locker, and the two Imperials in the black uniforms talk back and forth a little bit about this. "You need to get this locked down," they tell Captain Mac. Of course, sir, of course. Why? See here from your manifest that Argovia is your destination. Why are you hauling these kind of goods to Argovia? This is a mining corporation. And Captain Mac throws out a couple of things that she tried to set up in the pre-filter, but she's not the best liar and also has been a little rattled by a droid revolution. And so the Imperial instructs the stormtrooper to put her in binders. Sai, you see this as Mac is complaining, but not fighting them, and a stormtrooper puts binders on her. What do you do?
So like what is the reasoning for the bindings? Like, is it just like you sit
Oh, this
tight?
is suspicious.
This is
Yeah,
suspicious.
we're gonna take you to a holding, and we'll just um, what the Imperial officer says is we're just gonna impound the ship until we make sure that it's safe to travel to Argovia.
Okay. How many Imperials are on this ship? Or how many people do I see?
8.
8. Cool. Uh, let's see. Let me look at some of my stuff that I have.
While you're looking,
I
we'll
don't.
cut back to the junk room.
Yeah.
Kala, Shan, Jody, you guys have been waiting. It's been half an hour at this point. Um, and over, not the loudspeakers, but to your comm, Rick comes over and says, "Hey, they're arresting the cap. They're going to impound the ship. Um, I'm not sure what to do."
Chan? Cola? I mean, the mission is we get there, we come back. Imperials stop us from getting there, it's a problem. We take out the Imperials, maybe they stop us from coming back. It's a problem.
Full interdictor cruiser out there.
Yeah. If they impound the ship, then like wait, the impoundment, are they like stopping the ship here? Are they
hmm
taking it to the planet or what? They stop.
they're not sharing a lot of details with Captain Back. They just
Yeah,
say
yeah,
we're going to impound the ship. We're not allowing this to head to Argovia. If you've got
yeah,
uh, this Kim leak,
yeah.
then yeah.
Either we hope she can give them satisfying answers, or we take them out.
Can I access
That's
the
the deal.
computer systems from within the container?
Um. Oh, you've got the little cybernetic thing. I'll say yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try and make it look like it's a faulty sensor. Like make it flip on and off, on and off and off, on, off.
Ooh, fun. Okay, I think that's a little complex. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
give you a difficult. You're gonna need a 20
difficult.
or better to, and by the way, just so this is a comprehensive roll. It's not just to make it go on and off, but on and off in a way that grabs the attention of one of the Imperials
To be like, oh, you got a
to
faulty
sell
sensor.
the lie. Yeah.
Okay. And if I spend a character point, I get to roll 2 additional dice.
No, you do not have the edge of luck. That is a special two side
What?
thing. Yeah.
That's a
So if
special
you've
side
got
thing.
you
Okay.
got two options here. Character points one for one give you a plus 1D. If you blow your force point, which is not impossible to get back, but if you use your force point, you double all your dice for an action.
Okay. I'm
And
gonna
another
burn.
option is I can help.
That's right.
Okay.
I will help you with the sieve, which gets you an extra die.
Yeah. Let's go with that. I think because that'll get me up to 6 dice. Yeah. We're lucky. All right. I'm gonna go with that. And so, how are you helping, Jody?
Oh, I'm helping you. As you start to set things up. I tell you, don't use this pattern. It looks too regular.
Hmm.
This is what would make it look like it was a faulty sensor. This is how a sensor would fail.
Gotcha. All right, here we go. Rolling 66. That is a 22. That is a success.
Whoa. Ooh, I like the dice you chose too, by the
I
way.
know they're free. They're free this week. Grab
Oh,
those
I'm
six with
grabbing those. I'm
pips.
grabbing those right
Okay.
now. That's great. Thank you. Excellent. That is amazing. What is that? I mean, we know what it looks like. It goes
Right.
off and on again, off and on again. And I think the sub officer, like the little lieutenant, is the one who notices it. Uh, sir, sir, look, and they check it out, and then the Imperial tells the troopers to bring Captain Mac back, and that Imperial forces Captain Mac to put on the suit and go in with one of the Imperial readers into the area because the Imperial reader will tell if there's actual uh, exposure problems. And after that happens, she goes in. There's no, everything's clean. She comes back out, flips up the little visor from her hazmat suit. I'll get that sensor fixed, sir. And she is looking relieved that it's not fake. And the Imperial says, hmm, well, a faulty sensor is definitely a problem. Definitely a problem. And Captain Mac says, uh, can we move on since we know this is secure? She holds up the little indicator. Imperial hovers for a little bit. There's a brief bit of conversation, and then Captain Mac and the Imperial officer leave from the others to head to back away from everyone else. Sai, I assume you're still following at this point.
Yes.
So you see Captain Mac goes into her quarters and the Imperial officer follows. What do you do? There's no like the shift the shaft doesn't actually go like you can't crawl into it. It gets narrower.
Hmm. Um, can I like move? So like, are there like pipes or something on the ceilings that I could climb through or something like that? Like,
You'd need to come out of the actual shaft and climb along the ceiling itself. But
oh,
yeah,
yeah, done.
okay, cool. That this will be a new role.
Hmm.
Okay. So we'll say that this is a moderate difficulty to stealth your way around. You will need a 15 again to climb along the ceiling above Captain Mac and this fine Imperial officer, which I should grab a pick because I have a bunch of imps.
Oh, it did it twice. Oh God, but it gave the same number twice.
That is very weird. It's a different sets of numbers each time, but definitely the universe wanted you to have a 17, which is a success. Um, you climb along the ceiling. Captain Mac accesses a small, like little safe that's built in behind a hollow picture, and she pulls out a little small stack of some credit bars and hands them off to the Imperial officer. They have a little bit of conversation. The officer looks at it, slides it into a black pocket, and it seems that you witness the captain having to bribe the Imperial officer.
Hmm.
And then that officer heads back, gets the stormtroopers and their sub officer, and they head back to the shuttle.
So when they go to the shuttle,
Hmm.
Sai wants to follow from behind, and he wants to try to steal something from an Imperial without being noticed. If he can get the credits back, that would be great. Like if he could like hang from the ceiling and like get the credits like out of the back pocket or something like that without being noticed, or if that's too cheeky, it can be something else. But
So let's talk about the difficulty. If you want to just snag some random thing, I'll say that that is difficult. You will need a 20. If you want to try to get back the creds from the Imperial officer, then that will be very difficult. You will need a 25.
hmm. And that would be steal, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. And what is the, if I use the force point, what does it do?
it doubles your dice. So you calculate all the dice that you would have to roll. You spin the force point. Um, talk to us about what is special or mystical about this activity, and then you roll twice as many dice.
Hmm. I think I'll just spend another luck. And
Spin another character
that'll give me
point.
7. Yeah, character point, sorry. Character point. And that will give me 7d6.
Are you, dude? You need to tell me which difficulty you're heading
Hmm.
towards. Are you trying to do the 20 or the 25? 25 would get back the Captain Max credits from the Imperial officer. A 20 would get you some trinket from probably the stormtroopers.
I don't really like the captain that much, so I think we're just going for the trinket.
Okay,
Or it could be some creds, but like less creds or what have you.
sure.
Like just, something not worth the full risk. But he definitely wants to take something from these people because they're the worst.
It's very wise that you chose not to try to nick something from the Imperial officer. You end up grabbing I don't think stormtroopers really carry credits on them. That seems like not a thing that they would do, but you get a code cylinder off of one of them, which is actually valuable for your mission potentially. A code cylinder is a thing that can be used for security access. And
Mhm.
let's say you grab it off of the sub lieutenant. So it is an officer's access code cylinder. And maybe like um, a small data crystal as well.
Yeah. And we see just like being held up by his tail wrapped around a pipe as he lowers himself down and then yoinks and then like the tail's a bit prehensile uh and gets himself back up, just takes it from the guy, then goes back up. Like Mission Impossible music.
Okay. Uh, Jody, Kala, Sean, those Imperials have been gone for a bit. The alarms, you flicked with them for a bit. You find out, oh, it looks like things are getting off, and then all of a sudden the Imperial officer disappears with the captain, and now everyone seems to be leaving, but the captain gets to stay. Anything you do before the Imperials head through the airlock back to their shuttle?
Sounds like your ruse Sean worked. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. I am curious. Just is what else? What is the junk in here?
Ooh, great question. What is the junk in here? The junk in here are a lot of parts, some you can see from the manifest that there was some stuff that they hauled and then got shafted on. So she's been sitting on it, hoping to sell it. So there are a few crates
Okay.
of things that maybe she can move at a market later. Uh, and then storage for old equipment. It's a junk room.
It is
Um,
junk. Okay.
yeah. Other than the small cargo of things that, and we'll say that it's oh, sure. We'll say that they are. Oh God, what are they? What do they call cigarettes in death sticks?
No death sticks. Yes.
Yeah, some off-market death sticks.
Okay. Well, she'll be able to move the death sticks when we get to our destination, Angovia. Um. All right. No, I'm not going to take anything. I was just curious.
Okay. Uh, She does not have a very meticulous listing. Whatever disappears from here, other than death sticks, she probably will not have a knowledge. So, um, we fast forward to you guys on the bulk hauler, getting back, finishing out the last few hours. Um, the captain has stayed in the cockpit. She does not want to have a conversation with you guys. Um, however, Jody, the load lifters inform you that they have performed the calculations via their astromech droid of appropriate compensation and have presented that via a text message in basic to Captain Mac of their demands.
Um, you always need to present them with why it benefits them. So explain to them how your autonomy will benefit to this extent. And of course, you have to do a good job to show that you're worth what is being paid for. So I help them negotiate.
Nice. Hey, well, let's see how this goes. Let's
Uh,
see you negotiate.
hey, I have bargain. Haha,
Hey,
I
how
told you.
Ah,
smart. It's like you were made for this.
Can I
Okay.
can my earlier providing
Give
of
him a D.
workable
Give
wages
a
be
one die.
assistance? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I think I'm at 6 die. What's the difficulty? Or am I just gonna roll and we'll see how well
Yeah,
everything
once you roll,
goes?
we'll see how well it goes for them. I
Okay.
like that.
That's a 23.
Wow. Uh, 23. She agrees to the demands, but does it on a timetable because she needs to recoup the losses. She's taking a bath on this
Right.
now. She really needs to move those death sticks and maybe try to get a better deal on the ore she's picking up to not lose her shirt from this mission of delivering a bunch of rebels. So, yeah. But she agrees to not add restraining bolts. And I think there are a couple of extra things that the load lifter droids offer that they can perform outside of their normal duties so that she can better that she won't be just losing profit.
And I tell her I have affixed deactivated restraining bolts to the ASP 1 and 2 simply because the Imperials might look at it funny. Since you had some problems with the Imperials, I'm going to leave those with you just so that they don't suspect anything weird going on. I just wanted you to know that those are not functional.
Thank you.
Mhm. And I appreciate you looking at the long arm of history and seeing how freedom benefits us all.
Hmm. Sweet. So, you guys land in the spaceport.
Thigh drops down onto Shan's shoulders.
Okay.
And just in front of Shan's face is the cylinder.
Have you done no? Sigh. Shan grabs it.
I can't read it.
No,
It's
it
not
may
medical.
take some great time to find out what this is. Hmm. Keep it. On the way back, we will take a look.
Takes it back, back flips off your shoulder and just like lands behind you.
Interesting.
What about the data crystal? Did you also hand that off, or just
Oh
the
yeah,
code cylinder?
it
Okay.
was the cylinder and the data crystal. Both things he found that aren't doesn't have to do with medicine as far as he's aware of what he knows, the knowledge that he has from his limited workings, or fixing guns or taking care of
Yeah.
artillery. So he's like, yeah, Shan knows things. Here's Shan, look at this one too.
So, in the way that Star Wars planets are all one biome, the biome of Argovia is rainy and chilly. So as you guys disembark from the bulk hauler and head from the through the spaceport, which is filled with a half dozen other bulk haulers and gigantic loading equipment. This is an active mining facility, 500,000 people. You head towards Argovas City. I'm imagining that maybe a speeder truck, you guys are able to grab there's a person who just ferries folks back and forth between the spaceport to Argovas City. Last thing Captain Mac tells you is that she's going to be on Argovia for 15 hours, taking on this load. Do your job, get back. Um, I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for you. Best of luck to you.
I'm
And
gonna I'm gonna tell Captain Mac that I'm gonna try to find a buyer for some of that junk. You'd be surprised what people are looking to purchase around here.
uh, I've got a small manifest where I tried to catalog what I've got. You've seen it.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that. I would. And she doesn't tell you guys that she had to bribe that Imperial officer. Like it's cost of doing business. She hates it, but
But did Cy tell us?
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. If
Uh,
if loose lips sink ships, we are 70 billion leagues under the water.
Captain Mac brightens just a little bit. Like even the offer of help says, "Shan, do what you can. I'll kick you a percentage. What's fair?
That won't
Whatever's
be
fair
necessary.
once you're done."
And then also I think that won't be necessary. And then I think she offers me like the data pad with the manifest. He goes, that also won't be necessary.
Okay. Well, best of luck. And then she will head back to work on getting things unloaded with her 01 and 02 and Rick and the rest of the crew because they're all awake now. Argova City is a grubby mining town. It's only a kilometer away, so your ride is, or I'm sorry, it's a few kilometers away from the spaceport. It's not long of a ride. However, one of the most noteworthy parts of Argova City is that a kilometer beyond the town, you see the huge cranes and gantries lit by dozens of arc lights that rear up in the sky and the shadowy bulk of a large processing plant against the reddish tint of the dense nighttime clouds. Beyond the city, there's a large sensor dish pointed up into the sky, also illuminated by arc lamps. This is the business end of the sensor net that you have come to destroy. It's a pretty nasty looking cloud formation on the horizon. Weather, Shan, as you know well, is probably going to turn a little rough before long. However, you guys are headed to the single bit of nightlife, the one word placed in the map of Tenzas. Now, Shan, how are you known? How are you known? We got to make it interesting, right? You can't be a like a
Oh yeah.
nobody. How are you known at Tenzas specifically?
Tenzas specifically.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think Shannon's definitely been there before. Um,
Maybe you know someone who works there.
yeah, and I think that Shan has maybe got a reputation there, um, for all Shan's like technical ability. One would believe that he might be able to spoof games, and he totally could. It's just he never has, but they suspect the crap out of him. Um, because he's just really lucky at gambling, or at least has been up until very recently. Um, and I think the looking at House Rena here, um, Barrick, my fellow cyborg, um, maybe is another regular there, or maybe he's on
Ooh,
staff. I'm okay with him being a staff member.
yeah. All right. Staff member at Tenza. Sounds awesome. Just add that in there on the NPC details. That is
Will do.
great. So a fellow cyborg and Barrick, what is the relationship that Shan has with Barrick?
Um, Barrick suspect uh, that Shan is fixing games or has in
Okay,
the
okay.
past.
All right. Has he um accused or just suspect?
Just suspects.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. So, a bit of box text, but I think it's well written box text. I'll drop it in our chat so you have it. Um, Tenzes is the most well-known landmark in Argova City. It is a three-story transparasteel building. Transparasteel is see-through metal. So glass, some people might call it. It's filled with flashing lights, gaudy chrome statues, and throngs of people. Inside, the air is filled with the sounds of a gambling casino gone mad. Shrill whistles pierce the air, loud bells clang, and everywhere is the clatter of brass hitting wood and plastic as hundreds of miners shoot brass balls into the techy Sanchango gambling machines. Sanchango is played by tossing a metal ball into the upright machine in the hopes of dislodging the other balls inside. Each ball is worth a credit.
The giant pachinko parlor.
Sanchango, because it's
Sanjango.
Star
Okay.
Wars. But yes, very pachinko. Um, this was written in like the 90s, so I guess pachinko's been around for much longer than I anticipated. I'm sure it's an ancient game, but I'd never heard of pachinko until not long ago. Uh, there are there are a number of employees here to serve the miners. The miners are mostly worried about the games, but they also have a live band playing with fairly attractive Twillick singer, and there are several bars, three levels. Kala, you could make a lot of money here if you're, you know, interested in running a side game or waylaying strangers. There are a lot of miners here, but then there's also a section that's more like the VIP area where some of the mining management and the corporates, folks, uh, take their fine dining and the like. 1920s, that's amazing. Thank you for looking that up.
Um, do we have any rebel contacts here?
You do. Um, Not a rebel, but working. He is a forger by the name of Bats.
Oh,
I
that's
have
right.
a picture of him. That's okay. We've thrown a lot of names and info at you. There's a picture in the NPC tab. He is the person who can provide you the Imperial idents and for a price which has already been prearranged through intermediaries. You just got to show up. He's going to hand over the idents that can help you get into the sensor array. So, uh, Jody, how are you carrying yourself here? Because this is definitely not a place for liberated droids. Very humanocentric. Argovia is a planet that is mostly humans.
Um, I come in with Sai. Sai is sort of my beard. Um, and I think we don't take any guff. If something happens, if someone, comes after us, then we'll handle it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think for the most part, people would assume that this is, a uh droid and their owner.
You
Because
do
that's
have the fake restraining bolt, so that
yeah.
gives you a good amount of cover. Sweet. Kala, what do you do when you
Um,
guys enter this place?
Yeah, I think I just like naturally check out where are the exits, where would they have like the vault or the equivalent, like where are they storing the cash, uh, where are the guards, that sort of thing. Not like with any plan in mind. It's just it's what you do when you go into a place.
Awesome. I'd love to see how good you are at that. Let's throw that to a roll.
Sure,
Um, let's
I
see.
don't know. There's there's like
It feels like it could easily be a
20.
search roll, but if you've got
Sure.
something more
Yeah.
specific you were headed towards, what would you want?
No, I wasn't thinking about anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Search
yeah. We're just playing your
seems,
character. It's all good.
yeah.
Um,
Search seems reasonable.
yeah. So there's no danger into this roll, but I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give you a moderate difficulty to figure out
Yeah,
how their security is laid out. You're gonna get details, but to get anything like where they keep the money,
yeah.
um, that
I
kind of thing.
I'll just roll my 3d6 and
Okay.
see what happens. That's a 12.
Okay. So what you pick up is there are also I didn't in the boilerplate. It's transparent steel floors as well. So you could actually look up and see other people walking above you, other machines and the like. Um, you were able to spot where guards, exits, entrances are. You also spot there are no, other than the VIP area where they use actual non-transparent steel. Everything else is pretty visible. You do not see anything that indicates this is where they keep all the money. Um, this is all at a glance. If you stuck around for a bit,
Mhm,
maybe you could watch somebody pushing credits and see where they go. But at this glance, as you're walking around coming in, you get an idea of there's a decent amount of security here. None of it are stormtroopers. It's all on-site security. Even though this is under Imperial sway, they don't seem to care about this casino enough to have Imperial presence here.
mhm.
If there are Imperials here at all, they're in the VIP section, which means probably not a bunch of stormtroopers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just like casual observation while we're going
Yep.
to.
Yep. Cool. So Sai and Jody are in. Get a few looks, right? You got this basically a protocol droid as far as anyone would be considered, dressed oddly, wearing clothing, and a Zygerian. I would imagine people mix of curiosity and also Zygerian being uh, known as pretty vicious folks. There's some folks who are a little nervous as you walk by as well. Sai, Shan, you know this place. I imagine you've been to Tensa's dozens of times, and you've been quite lucky. So you've made some good money here. Maybe there's a card dealer, a Sabic dealer who recognizes you and gives you like a head nod, and you know it's only going to be moments before Barrick is aware that you are here. What are you doing?
Um, I know that I'm going to be a distraction. Um, so I'm going to I just tell the others they know me here. Find the forger. I'm going to go towards the I figure the forger's probably not in one of like the super public areas. So I'm going to go to like the performance venue part that's attached, and try to draw security's eye in that direction.
Question. Because you're
Mhm.
here, you're local. Bats is a forger who's been around for 6 months or so. What has Bats provided you or a friend of yours that was pretty good work? The point where when you found out, oh, it's Bats, okay, well, he does decent work. He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he does good work.
Ooh. Let me see. Um, I think there was another. Let's see, Barrick is part of House Arena. I think there was a fellow miner trying to get um leave off of the planet, which normally they don't allow.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a medical release form. It was very
Nice.
it was very well done. Um, because he paid attention to not only like all making it look official and all the imperial stuff, but it was a medical condition that the miner themselves like actually could be having. Um, yeah, it was like one of the it's something that they didn't wasn't super obvious and super difficult to scan for. So
Nice. Cool. So you're heading to where the come to watch them sing area.
right, yeah.
Um, oh man. Yeah. Think about what style of music it is. I'll ask you later. Shan said, I'm known here, has asked the three of you, this is probably where Bats is, and I'm curious, what do you do?
So I think Cy and I will head off towards the bar. I'm going to take a chance to look around for bats. Where do we were told to meet him at this bar?
You were told to meet him at this place at Tenza's. You were given a like you don't carry it around on you, but you were shown a picture of what Bats looks like.
Okay,
He's
great. So
human. He's in his late 20s, um, and there's a picture of him in the NPCs tab.
so I think I'm going to take a look. I'm going to look around looking for bats. Um, I'm going to try and make sure this is nonchalant. So it might be going up to the bar, ordering Cy a drink, or heading over, maybe shooting a couple of the Sunchungo balls
Hmm.
just to mingle a little bit so I can get a better look at bats. Look for bats.
Okay. Sai, what are you doing?
I think it's been a while since Sai's been in a place like this, and it's got his fur a little prickled because last time he was here, he was probably enslaved. And I think he sort of takes a seat and is just observing right now. Especially there's a lot of eyes on him. People are, uh, you know, curious about Zagurians, things like that. And so I think he's trying to hold himself in a manner he remembers his owner, like how they would present themselves.
Hmm.
And just sort of almost like a fake it till you make it kind of vibe. Like just like sitting as if, they fucking own the world, you know?
Cool. All right. Awesome. And then we know where Shen is, where Jody and Sai have gone. What about Kala? Are you sticking near Jody and Sai, going your own way? What are you doing?
Um, so we need to get to uh, the radar sensor thing.
Yes.
Thing like she'll clap Shan on the shoulder, and I'll score her some wheels and go outside and start looking for some sort of vehicle that she can boost in a way that's not too obvious, like something doesn't have to be a great something super fast, but something inconspicuous.
Awesome. So you tell them we're going to get us some wheels. Which would they even say that with computer technology? But I love the term anyway. It's great, and it's Star Wars would say that kind of stuff anyway. Is there a hell? But Han mentioned hell. I'll see you in hell. So it's fine. I love this. As soon as you step outside, there's this low rumble of thunder, and the sky just opens up. And it goes from this drizzle to the kind of rain where there will be mud puddles in moments. You start looking for, okay, what can I boost here? And that's when you hear the sound of someone down one of the alleys getting beat the hell up. What do you do?
Well, guess I'll have to at least have a look to see what's going on.
Awesome. So, you head over to the alley. It's across the way from where uh, Tenza's is. And there's a guy who's actually standing at the end of the alley who gives you the move the hell on look. Um, but when you glance past him, you see that there are several large men beating up. Oh, that looks like bats.
Yeah, okay. I think like I pretend to go past just so that I can grab up my
Hmm.
comms unit and call up the others and say, Bats is out here. He's in trouble. I'm going in. Come back me up. And then she turns around, pulls out her very much too big blaster pistol, and and points it at the guy at the mouth of the alley. And she's like, "This is a huge blaster pistol." She's holding it like two hands. Uh, you get out of my way now, or I'll blow a hole in you.
Amazing. That is awesome. And I love the idea of this. I'll tell you a couple things, Kala, before we go to this die roll. This
Mm-hmm,
guy's not Imperial.
mm-hmm.
Um, he's he's a criminal. He's armed. He's not afraid of someone sticking a blaster in his face.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
he's not just gonna drop and squeal. So
Mm-hmm.
with that, this is a moderate difficulty to get the drop on him and have him just break and get, basically pull a fade
Yeah.
and leave his buddies in the lurch.
I assume this is intimidate.
I think so. It feels very intimidating to me.
So I got and moderate is 15, right?
Correct. Moderate is 15.
So I got 4 dice, which is not terrible, but it's a little below what I would like. So I guess I'll spend the character point for an extra die. So I got 5 dice for that. Let's roll it and see what happens. 19.
Wow, that's awesome. It turns out that the guy they told to do lookout is not having the best day, and he sees that. He sees how big that blaster is, um, and he's just gonna take off. He's like, pay me enough, and then he's heading out, and I am going to cut back in. Shan, Jody, Sai, you all got the message from Kala over comms. Hey, he's in trouble. I'm going to help him out. I'm going in, I think was what Kala said specifically. So, Shan, what do you do? I think that the Twillick Sigger, she's like come down into the crowd. She's
I'm not
moving
sure
around the
Shan can hear it.
tables.
I don't know if Shan. I landed on horror drive music, which was popular during the Galactic Civil War.
Oh,
Um,
great.
and I
Write
think
that down. I would have that.
okay, you want that in the
Yeah, just drop me
here?
a link in the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Core drive, particularly because it's okay. Oh, I don't know, I messed it up. Um, because there's a certain like, are we still a member of the Empire thing going on in this part of space? Um, and I don't think Shan hears it. I don't think Shan can hear it
That's
over the
awesome.
loud music.
Okay. It is loud. We have established that.
And I think that Jody's going to head out outdoors on alert. Yeah.
Okay. What about Sai? You following with Jody since two you guys were working together?
Um, Honestly, I think Sai's gonna do what Sai's gonna do, which is honestly try to get onto the rooftops to make a attack from there.
Okay. All right. Sweet. So I think what we'll do is have Kala, you'll get one action in there. Shan, you're out for now, but we'll have interesting thing happens for you. Don't worry. Jody's crossing the street. Sai, you're making your way up one of the prefab buildings to get a lookout, and that's where we'll basically stop things here. Next session, which by the way, 2 weeks from now. Next week is our mini con, but next session we'll figure out where Will's character is, figure out what's going on with Shan, and pick up with the fight. So, uh, I enjoyed this session. It was very unexpected. It got into some politics that I probably should have thought more about. When I dropped the restraining bolts, I should have been ready for a revolution. But I'm going to give 3 character points to everyone for the session. And that's the end of the stuff. That's all we have to do for that. So we'll quickly go over some wishes and then we end with stars. So we start off with wishes. We saw some more system in play, Steven. So I feel like we got a little bit of that. And then play and explore more. So I feel like we got those 2 previous wishes. So who has wishes?
I don't know, I think it's very interesting because it's come up. So I think I want to engage with like, and I don't know if Stephen, if you want this, but like the history of both of our enslavement and like the society, like the people involved in that. Like I think that could be like a fun arc as we are both attempting to free more people, being perhaps confronted with those individuals who were the reasons we were enslaved. Sort of a bit of a long term, but like overarching.
Cool. Who else has wishes?
I liked the interaction that we had with the captain. Um, so I'd like to see more of that. As far as people, I'm just here to do a job. I have to bribe Imperials. That's just the way things work here. And kind of get them on our side.
I would like an opportunity to try to sell those products for our freighter captain. Um, I would also, and this is completely out of any of our hands, see the option by tens rule happen either direction. That's just the dice; they get to decide. But I'm sure we'll get there.
Cool.
And I'd like to see Will. I thought I saw Cody might also be joining, or is that
Cody's original invitee. Some things have changed in his schedule. He's not able to join us.
got it? Okay, cool. Thank you for the clarification.
No problem. Anesh, do you have any wishes?
Just for myself, I think to figure out character advancement and that sort of thing. Just some
Okay.
look at some mechanical stuff.
Yeah, feel free to hit me up over Discord. I've got spending character points on the left-hand side of the sidebar on the
Oh, cool.
the team page.
Cool. I'll look at that.
Okay, cool. You went last with wishes. You get to go first with stars.
Yeah. Fun session. I like that you didn't make it easy for us with the captain, that she was just like, no, these are my droids. I own them. And yeah. All the people we work with won't be good people. And that's just decide when you need to stand up for things and when you have to let it go. That's fun and interesting, um, and I liked how that played out. Um, Sai snagging something from the stormtrooper, that was a lot of fun. And Jody being very serious about the droid liberation and helping the droids negotiate. I like that a lot. And Shan, like, first faking the radiation leak and then faking a fake sensor. That was really smart. I really liked that. So that was fun. Um, yeah, fun session.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Greg, you're up next. What did you have from stars? Any?
I'll echo the star from Andish. I enjoyed Sai taking the stuff off the Imperial officer because that was the high point. I'm like, no, we solved it. No, Sai, don't mess this up. No.
So
And it
stressful.
worked out. I was so happy that it worked out. Don't Kay, don't forget to put that in your character sheet because I gave that back to you, and we do want to get I do want to get back to that. That's another wish to find out what's on there, but I just don't have time. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed that moment, and I did enjoy the droid freedom arc. I knew when I saw Jody on the character keeper that was going to come up, and I'm here for it. So yeah, that was great.
Awesome. Steven, what about you? Any stars out there?
Yeah, first of all, star to everyone. I didn't intend for that to take over like more than half the session. It was like, oh yeah, she's just gonna be mouthy but no, it turned out to be a whole thing. And I guess star to Rich for like, no, I'm not gonna roll over and just give you this. This is gonna be hard. You have to figure this stuff out. And I'm like, okay, that sounds great. And I like that, we were able to get by the Imperials without having to blow things up and shoot them and all that kind of stuff. We were able to figure out a way to trick them, and then the captain bribed them, and that was great. I really enjoyed all of that. And I'm going to echo what Anders said about all the different character points, like Shan tricking the Imperials with their stuff, stealing the code cylinder. Thank goodness Cola went out and went to go steal a car, because otherwise we wouldn't have known that Bratz was outside.
You might have found out. I'm sure there are other ways to find out.
Oh,
But
I'm sure. Yeah. We would have figured out eventually, but he would be all kinds of messed up by the time we got out there. So,
Yeah,
good initiative on Cola's part, right? So,
loved it. Loved it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Steven. Kate, bring us home. Any last stars?
you're muted, Kay.
Thank you, Greg. Uh, like stars to undead breaker, just fully Cola, fully embodying that, and like against the sort of picture of like this idea of like a very sweet looking girl, but again like the tats and like the piercings and things like that, and just sort of just like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck shit up, don't really care, don't really like, it's just I love someone who is not with the rebels for the rebels cause, but is just kind of like, oh, this is the place, it'll do for now. So that was very, yeah, it just, yeah, that was great. Like the two-handed hold detail was lovely. I'm really enjoying Steven, the dynamic that we're trying to sort of set up a bit for Jody and Sai. He's still like in the way that most new characters when you first really play them, because this is really the first real play. Uh, getting that set up is sort of good for inferring. Like, I'm like, okay, well, Jody, this what would Sai do? This is how he feels about Jody. Sai would go fucking undo the goddamn bolts. Like, that's what Sai would do. And so I like that we can play off each other like that. And I like the idea that Sai has zeroed in on Shan as like, you are group leader. Just because you know things. You know how to work a computer, you are group leader. Therefore, you must know what all the other things and how to work them are, such as cylinders and data crystals. And then Rich, yeah, no, I love not giving in. I love you letting me fucking just alien creep crawl around the entire ship, like a cat. Just, yeah, good.
That was unexpected. I will have that ideas around that in the future, so that I am not flat-footed. Oh, the flat-footed maybe not, but that was fun. Letting you witness some stuff was fun. Cool. Stars to core drive. For us talking about Sanchango and Pachinko, there's always neat little bits of Star Wars stuff that comes up in games, and that's pretty fun. Thank you all so much for playing, and with that, we'll bring this session to a close.